Check, 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 check. How y'all doing? Have y'all enjoyed yourself today? This day has flown by. I'm gonna ask a favor, y'all. This is the last speaker of the day. It's been a long day. Would y'all come in so we can have a conversation, move up closer? There's too many empty seats in the front.
A little intimacy.
Yeah. This last one is just gonna be a conversation, y'all. Did Donald leave yet?
I did.
Donald, oh, there he is.
You?
That's my guy, man. You killed it, man. He was on some Cleve, like straight Cleve. I was like, I love it, man. He said nigga so many times, man. I was like, but it was educated nigga, you know what I mean? Pontificating nigga. Thank y'all, I appreciate that. Y'all give it up for my mom in the back real quick. She's about to leave and go back to Cleveland. She drove all the way down, brought my son. So we'll jump right into it. This is an honor. A lot of people who know me personally know, like, this is probably one of the people I've wanted to, it's one of the first people I wanted to bring to CCF when we started it 8 years ago. You know, all the stuff that brush experience and creative control and a lot of the stuff that, you know, we started here was inspired by like the Atlanta black art scene. And Miya Bailey was kind of a leader in that scene coming up in the early 2000s, late 90s. Is that right? Is that about that time?
Well, like 94.
Yeah, so a little before I was still in high school then, but I caught up when I got to college. And so it's an honor to have you here with us today. You know, he said he was gonna give me some ink. I hope we can still make that happen. I almost teared up yesterday when he said, yeah, I got you, right? So
I got him.
Yeah, okay. All right. It's on tape. So we just jump right in. How did you get your start? Well, first, who are you? What do you do? You're a lot of things. I know a lot of people know you for your tattooing, but you're also an artist and some other things. So could you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I'm a father, number one thing. I'm a dad, uncle and all that good stuff. But I'm an artist, a visual artist. My first love is painting. So painting, illustration. I use tattooing as my little hook to draw people in of a younger generation towards art. And I'm a businessman. That's the number one thing, you know. A businessman, like a community builder, bringing people together like a common denominator.
Dope. I was a little modest, but I appreciate it. That's that southern hospitality in them. How did you get started with City of Ink? So you started as a painter. How did you get into tattooing and that?
Well, I was living in the projects, so nobody buying paintings in the projects, you know. And I started tattooing in '92, so it was like around that time. I think it was like it was that summer when like everybody listened to Niggas for Life, NWA. So it was like that street culture was just like at this peak, because like no matter where you was from, everybody listened to NWA. Yeah. So I started getting into like screen print, doing T-shirts and everything, and I just fell in love with people wearing my art, because now it was like outside, because you can't see a painting once it's in a house, but you see somebody running a mall, see somebody wearing your shirt, it was just a beautiful feeling. And then I had read this book called Tattoo by Don Ed Hardy, and they would just listen all these different cultures of tattooing, from like Polynesian, Asian, tribal, all these different things, but I didn't see any art form that represented us. So I just fell in love with that art form, and me and my friends just like, we're gonna start what we see today in black tattoo culture. We're gonna like black people gonna have sleeves, people gonna be walking around with tattoos looking like African warriors, and that's what we thought about it when we did it, because at this point you had to introduce tattoo to black culture. Nobody was getting in the black community was getting tattooed anywhere in the United States like that at a heavy rate. So it was like, if you was doing it, you was standing out. And I was the only black tattoo artist in North Carolina, and it was mostly white there. So I moved to a black city, Atlanta, and it was
joking about that. Atlanta is still in Georgia. And once you get outside of Atlanta, it's still Georgia, still the South, very much so. So what happened when you got to Atlanta, and like how did City of Ink get started? Did it start in North Carolina, or you started that once you got to Atlanta?
Well, we started City Ink once we got to Atlanta, but it kind of started from Patchworks, Patchworks Recording Studios.
Is that the Hollywood and that movement?
Yeah, well, it was way before that. It was way before this point. This is around like 95. And Patchworks had just landed in Atlanta, and they was building up. And we was in the Art Institute of Atlanta, and we was right next door to the original Patchworks. And we just happened to walk down the street, and he was like, "Y'all art students?" We was like, "Yeah." The guy Curtis Daniels, who is now owner of it, he was the manager then. And he was like, "We need somebody to do some flyers for Jack the Rapper." And we're doing some promos for like this new Hot 97 radio station or something. So it was like, yeah, we college kids, we needed the money. And right then we started doing like flyers, logo designs, all these stuff for the local artists there, which they were local artists to us, but they were like world renowned. Now they get, known and everything. But we was right in the studio where Outkast, Goody Mob, everybody was recording albums. So to see that these albums like Soul Food and ATLiens being recorded at this place, it was you can tell history is being made. And I knew at that point that history is being made through sound and music, that we needed a visual movement to match that.
That's dope. Could you talk a little more about that? Like, I think a lot of times when you don't live in a place and you see it from afar, you think it's just like somebody sprinkled some magic dust and then it just happened. And so, when you put it in the context of like this is 94, 95, like all of these people were making and creating together, even if not like at the same time or in the same place, but at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so like, could you talk a little more about how this movement out of Atlanta, like where was the impetus for all of that, this Black arts movement, and how did that, like, was this planned, or did it kind of happen organically?
I think it was organically, maybe, and it was kind of planned at the same. It was kind of half and half, because struggle and poverty will create imagination and creativity so you can eat. I knew every artist I knew didn't want a 9-to-5 job. They wanted to do their art full time in a city that didn't even have an art scene. So step one is to create an art scene so we can have an economic ecosystem.
Y'all taking notes?
So it's like a lot of people like I go to this place, they be like, ain't no art scene here. And I'd be like, did you start it yet? You know what I'm saying? Did you work and create it? You know what I'm saying? Because Atlanta, the art scene you seen wasn't existing. We had to, I hooked up with people like Mr. Soul and Kevin Williams and
that's WAC for WAK for those who don't know.
Yeah. So it's like you had to hook up with these artists that was all on the same path and work together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had to be consistent. And like commercials on TV, like you might be on TV looking at TV and a McDonald's commercial come up, and you're like, I want to try that new burger. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to be consistent in programming people to see shows. For a fact you're going to get a show every single month or sometimes twice a month. And if you do this every single day for 14 years solid or something like that, it's going to be programmed that these events is going to happen. And that's how you create a culture in the art scene.
That's dope. I'm not going to monopolize the whole conversation. I just got a couple more questions, and then if it's okay with you, we'll open it up to the audience.
That'd be dope, man. I hope y'all answer some stuff, because I don't want to be sitting here looking crazy.
Yeah. I think you raised some good points that, everywhere you go, people are like, it's not here. And why don't you start it? And I think, that was, the inspiration behind starting Creative Control Fest and some of the other things that we do. So let's talk a little more about like City of Ink and like how that because when I found out about it, I don't think I had seen Black people tattooing for black skin, right, for dark skin. And I thought that was like very intriguing. And you kind of created a lane in that way, right? You grandfathered a lot of people in that regard, and that's gotten you on some TV shows, some documentaries. I heard Titus Kaffar, who's a visual artist, talk about never being taught how to paint black skin, you know what I mean? And so you kind of took that into tattooing. And so was that inspired by the fact that you didn't see it, or is there a way that you tattoo black skin that is different from like tattooing other skin tones?
Well, you got to think about it. When we started tattooing, Black people wasn't really getting tattooed.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of invent it.
Okay.
So you had to mess up your friends In
So
92.
I attempted.
Anybody who got a tattoo from me in 92 is not got the same tattoo you get. You know what I'm saying? It's like new equipment, new technology, new everything.
You was wrapping the thread around the needle and
exactly.
dip it in the Indian ink, burn it. I tried it.
So
I mean.
it's like it's way different now, but we had to pioneer, and I would have to give credit to like people like Tukey Carter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to be a little crazy to, like, if you was tattooing in the early 90s, they taught you that you only can use maybe 4 colors on black people, period. And then, so you didn't, if you was taught this and that was the only color, that's what you believed. So you wouldn't even attempt to try it because you didn't want to mess up somebody. But my partner Tukey was crazy enough to like, and had a baby mama crazy enough to let him do these things. And remember, this is the time you couldn't buy pre-made bottles of inks. You had to make the ink yourself, and you had to make the needles yourself, and you had to make the tattoo machine that you're using. So everything was not pre-made or bought in a kit. You had to literally, like when you see the color red, we had to make that color, you know, with powder and all the stuff we can't say, but just the ingredients to make a tattoo ink. We had to do these things from scratch, and we had to make mistakes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had to tattoo each other and ourselves to like, okay, that didn't work out. Let's work on this orange a little bit more before we bring it to people. Yeah. You know, so it's like we had to do these things for the people. You know, we had to be the the people that make the mistakes to get the ridicule and get dogged out. Yeah. Like, it wasn't welcoming for us.
I'm curious, what 4 colors did they tell you had to use?
Yeah, black, red. I think it was blue and the green.
Okay, the black, red, black, and green, of course. That's obvious. So after City Event, you know, it became a success. You know,
which is a collective,
right?
Yeah,
right.
City Ink is, if who don't know, is a collective of artists from all disciplines of art. We use tattooing it's catchy, right? People are like, oh, it's more fascinating, it's interesting, because we all grew up seeing painters and illustrators and photographers. So we think we just threw another discipline of art in the mix between this collective of artists, and it just made people, like, it made our crew a collective of artists stand out a little bit more, because we had a group of tattoo artists also in this group of collectives.
And it was a gallery too, right?
Yeah, it started off, it's a gallery, and then we had to, so we was trying to do it like, where we did do it where it's a gallery, and then it happened to have tattoo artists painting in the art gallery. Yeah, so like when you walk in it, you be like, oh, I don't see no tattoo designs. Where'd I pick from? You're like, these are artists, they can design it right on the spot for you.
Wow.
Custom for everybody. Contour you to your skin tone, to your body type. Everybody is different, so you got to do everything different. You got to design art for that particular person.
Yeah, that's dope. So we'll fast forward a little bit. I got one more question, and then we're going to open it up. Where are you at now? Like, I know you're still tattooing, but you also have, you know, other things and that you're doing in terms of like venues and projects and things like that. Could you talk a little bit more about what you're doing today and what that looks like?
Yeah, right now I'm doing an art community center called Peter Street Station, and it's a creative hub of artists. It's 3 floors. We're still in the process of working on all 3 floors, but the main floor is like coffee house, community library. You move the bookshelf out the way, you got a little secret art gallery called Hidden Gallery. And every room is a different decor and a different aesthetic, because I love interior design. That's my next thing in my evolution, interior design. But this is my first public interior design project. I took an abandoned building, and me and my friends took the materials that was left in the building and just transformed it into what you see. So everybody who got Instagram, check out Peters Street Station with an S, Peters with an S, Street Station, and you'll see weekly stuff. We do stuff every single day almost for the visual arts community and the music community, because they coming on and mixing it all up together. So,
yeah, so there's a real strong emphasis around community and collectivity with City Event.
Ecosystem, because I believe in strong ecosystem. Like, we self-funded. Like, we got this abandoned building, and we didn't use on purpose, not saying that we don't want to have money now, don't get it wrong, but we wanted to show that it's enough money in the Atlanta ecosystem of art that we could purchase a building, and that we can remodel this building, and we can flip this building to worth about $2 million just selling art. So the whole thing is like we want to show you a transparent business plan of we sold this many paintings this year, we did this many tattoos, we sold this many photography pieces, we did this many logos as a collective to be able to afford an abandoned building, buy it, flip it, and do something back for our community. And now, once you get this business plan, like, oh, dang, it's that much art selling in Atlanta? Imagine if we give these people $1 million up front and what they can really do with it. Because
Amen.
we showed you
Amen.
we took nothing and turned it into something without any help financially from anybody except for the Atlanta art community.
Yeah, that's dope. So I'm gonna open it up to the audience for questions. Of course, Melissa would be first. I can come down with the mic. That cool with you?
Man,
All right, let's do
show,
it.
man. I'm in y'all house.
All right, questions? Not okay.
How you said you started off as a painter, but then transferred to tattooing. How do you still paint, and how does painting, whether it be technique or whatever, inform your tattoo artistry?
Well, I paint first. Tattooing, I probably do about 3 or 4 tattoos a week. But painting is my thing. It's more fun, a little bit. But I use both of them together because this is how I use them together. I don't know if each one of them, because they both different styles of medium, and I'm really, like, the older I get, the more they starting to blend together. You start to see, like, my paintings looking more like my tattoos or my tattoos looking more like my paintings. I can't really tell which one is the influence, but they blending together. And so what I did was, everybody know I paint, right? So if I'm painting, and painting take a longer time to do, and if I have to stop painting to do a tattoo, then the tattoo worth a lot of more money, right? Because I'm stopping to do a painting for, say, whatever, a value or whatever. Paintings increase in value. So if I got to stop doing that to do a tattoo, I can get more money for it per tattoo. Because it's not needed to make my income.
I just want to say I've admired you for a really long time.
Thank you,
I followed
sister.
you on MySpace.
Oh, damn.
So it's been a while. And I've also admired your ecosystem of artists. So can you talk to us about, like, why mentorship is so important? And then also, I like the fact that you mentioned your father first. So how does that also affect you as an artist?
Well, as a father and being an artist, I know I got to sell a certain amount of art to support them, So, he really inspired me because I can't be a lazy artist. You see a lot of artists they lazy. There ain't no other words to say it. Like, I don't see it. Like, you got 24 hours in a day. It's like, use some of those hours to study business and art and do some of that to master your craft. And you should use your body and your mind kind of equally. And so it's like, I really don't know, I don't know. It's just like a lot of artists. So my influence is like, I got to really make sure that I got a set quota. So it makes you think business. Like I'm really thinking business. And then in the ecosystem, it makes it easy because, like, I can do a lot of stuff on my own, but it's a lot easier if I don't have to do the logo. It's a lot easier if I don't have to be the person to design the flyer or that person to do this. So that's when you're like, okay, if I'm making this much money, I put this much money back into my community, it's gonna hire this person, and that's what we do. And I look at it like if one artist can really employ maybe 2 to 3 different people, because most artists not gonna check emails. Most artists not gonna be checking their text messages on their phone. You need someone else to do that to keep this artist busy creating art. So one artist can create jobs for other people. Because realistically, who want to do 100% of everything? So it's like if you put up, if you got you make 100% of all the money, but then you stressed out, it's not worth it. So maybe take 30% and put it back into other people to do some jobs to make it easier for you. I'm not going to be on Instagram making Instagram videos. I can pay somebody else to do it, but because you need all this marketing tools to make your product stay relevant.
So I'm pretty curious to understand, like, what do you value more, the business of art or the art itself? Because as I've gotten into the creative community, I've noticed that every entrepreneur is a creative, but not creative is an entrepreneur. So what do you value more, like the skills that you had inherently or the business that you learned along the way? Or is it a combination of both?
I'll probably have to say 50-50. The way I was raised and programmed, like my family raised me to be an artist. Literally like, Maya, you need to work this many hours a day on your craft. Get this good at this. And so, and then it was like, don't be doing no drawings for your friends for free. Make them pay you. You know what I'm saying? So even when I think art, I'm not thinking business first. I'm thinking expressing myself some way to let it out in some way. And then I know that emotion that you capture is gonna make someone's gonna relate to that emotion that you captured. You might be feeling bad. You might do a painting and you're feeling really down. Like Picasso, for example, he did the blue period, right? He was sad and depressed. His boy just killed himself. He's sad and shitty. He's not feeling good at all. And people saw these pieces and bought every single one of them pieces. You know what I'm saying? It's because they wasn't the most beautiful pieces, but they were most felt and emotional pieces. So it's like if you can think about, once you get out, my mentor, Julie Alfonso, she taught me never think of money first. The money gonna come. So you focus on the craft, the art first. That should be your main focus, is the quality and what you're trying to put in your art. And someone, even if there's only two people, them two people is gonna buy it. You focus on them two people. So a lot of artists get off track because they're trying to do mass appeal. And when you try to do mass appeal, you lose your way. So if you can, say you're using social media, say if you got 1,000 followers, now 1,000 followers, say 2 people bought something for real. Everybody else gonna comment and say, I like it, looks good. Don't get caught up in the comments, don't get caught up in the hype, because the same people that say it look good, the same people that say it look bad. And then you get caught up in the hype because you start believing that you was that good. If you really that good, people are gonna be really buying it. So you gotta think about what I'm doing wrong if you think you good and nobody buying my stuff. You might want to focus more on the business side a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of artists get caught up with doing art for their peers, and other artists don't buy your stuff. Like a rapper rapping for their friends, or a rapper, I can battle you in a battle rap, but can't make a song for the radio. Then you go to a hip hop show, it's all dudes, and wonder why the women ain't there, and the women are your main consumer. It's like you know what I'm saying? We as artists, we'll overthink. I'm gonna be sharp, and then sometimes some people want simplicity. That's why, minimalist stuff sells a little faster than that complex stuff. That's why somebody can be on the radio and do a dumb song with a jingle, and you'll catch it and be humming it next day. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta start thinking both. I always say study both, because sometimes it's not about dumbing down your art. Because what I do, I personally do some art for me, but I also know what my people want, and I can give it to them. And so when people go back in time and study my work, they might don't catch the stuff I did for myself, but 10 years or 20 years down the line, they can be like, I get it now. Because now people catching up to stuff I did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they didn't buy that shit.
Man, it's such an honor to have you in the building. So
I'm thankful to be here, y'all. Trust me.
Can you speak on understanding, like, for especially I think as Black artists, we need to start understanding the value of our work. Yeah. Can you tap into that, and then tap into what does your daily ritual looks like? Like, what does a work ethic look like from an artist who's having success?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get the first one. The title Black Art, since we come in so many different subcultures and everything, it's like, don't get caught up in thinking like, I gotta do a jazz scene, I gotta do a naked Black woman, I gotta do some ounce or representation of the culture, because we are so many different facets. We are so many different layers. Like, you might be a Black kid who's a skater, and he an artist, and his work is to represent Black skaters. It's like, that's not valid as Black art. It's like the Black experience is so many different things that is, me personally, I think it's more valuable when we step outside the box and show people how beautiful we really are. Because we already know how beautiful we are. And we know that, but a lot of times we get caught up is just doing the same repeat of what you think black art's supposed to be. And it gets stereotyped. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I know I'm gonna see a jazz scene, or I know I'm gonna see this naked black woman, or I know I'm gonna see a love scene, or I know I'm gonna see, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see an Ankh, I'm gonna see an Aya Horus, I'm gonna see some Egyptian, I'm gonna see the king and the queen. I know these things. That's our history. Clearly we know this stuff. But we are so many different things, man. Like it's so many different topics that we can touch on that I think we're missing out on. That's just my opinion. You know, like, we are so many different things, and I think we need to reflect that. And every single thing don't have to be so deep about it. It might just be an emotion you're trying to capture. I might be feeling sad. I might want to splash some paint and make an angry face. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, or I might want to do something representing, you know, like Charles White, for example. He say, yeah, I use the black figure in my work, but it's not the black figure I'm representing. I'm representing the love between the mother and the child. Just because I see a black woman and a child, just representing humanity between the mother and the child, not just a black woman and a child. You know, clearly they black. Clearly we the first ones to walk this planet. Clearly we know all these things, right? So the whole thing is now to evolve it in the subject matters. And that's just my opinion, to evolve it, to go in the future with it. You know, to show what we're gonna look like maybe in the future. Or what we know we are and the rest of the world don't think we that way. Show that maybe. And then my rituals is I usually, I work 12 hours a day. I do 12-hour shifts. I do 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. And that's physical work. Usually, and since I'm the boss, I got to get up earlier than everybody to check all the emails and see what I'm missing and running the businesses and stuff. So most of my stuff my day is sacrifice, because while everybody else get to have breaks and complain about, oh, I'm working, you know, I got to do everything. I got to make sure payroll is done. I got to make sure everybody getting paid on time. I got to make sure checks are signed. I got to make sure that everybody's in point, everybody feeding their families. So it's a big responsibility on my end. Because when I wake up, first thing I'm doing is like, I got to make sure my employees' families are good. And then I can think about myself last. So I'm learning now, the older I get, to kind of put myself in the mix of caring, you know, but I really care about my employees and the people that work for me. I really want to see them do good, so that's my ritual every day. I get up, check my stuff, make sure, you know, I set my prices at a certain standard, so if anybody who can afford me, I got at least 13 other artists I can send them to. You know what I'm saying? So I set mine up higher for a purpose so I can feed the people who not got to that point yet. So if I start at $1,000, I can send them the 800s. You know, everybody eat type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I tattoo from 4 to around 9. Then at 9 o'clock, I go find some dinner, smoke me some weed, read some comic books. Around like 11:30ish, after the comic books and weed, then I work on the painting all the way up to, or drawing up to 4 a.m. Then I try to go to sleep, wake up, and do it again.
Yeah, this is so dope, man. Thank you for coming.
I'm honored to be here, man.
What would you say to an artist outside of ATL? How could he tap into the energy there? Because I heard great things about the energy of the art scene out there.
My opinion, man, everybody who support, like in Atlanta art scene, if you support the community, they support you back, straight up. Like it's no other way. Like I see, like you got young artists come to me, I want to do an art show. They ain't did a show with not a group or nobody else. They just automatically going, like, it feel like some narcissism. Like, I'm that good, let me jump in and do a solo show. Nobody know who I am, but I'm gonna do a solo show without even thinking about working with other artists as a collective and maybe ride off their wave of them a little bit and maybe like, because everybody not gonna like your stuff. So if you're working with a collective of people and it's something for everybody to choose from as a business, you know? And if you the curator of the show, then you're gonna get a percentage of the cut. That's how I became an art dealer. Like, I'm painting every day, and I'm like, dang, they don't want this one. But then they might like Mr. Soul's piece, or they might like so-and-so's piece. If I can hook the deal up as an art dealer, I'm gonna make some money. They might pay more for my friend's work than they pay for my work, and I made more money off their cut than I would for my own work. So it's not ego-driven, it's more business thinking, like, okay, you don't like my work, but he like her work. I'm gonna get some of that. You know what I'm saying? Let me make the deal. So in Atlanta, it's like that, like an ecosystem. We do shows, we have over 100 artists. Year before last, we had 250 artists. I knew out of 250 artists, somebody's gonna like some of that stuff. And then, you know what I'm saying? It was a good profit at the end of the day.
All right. You had a question? Oh. Last question, comment.
Maya, I just want to say thank you
What's
for
up, Don?
coming to Columbus. I'm so happy to see you here. And thank you for blessing me with your artwork on my body. I definitely always feel honored to have it and get a lot of compliments. But my comment is, Donna behind me had talked about mentorship, and you kind of didn't get to answer that. But I wanted to just say, like, thank you for being a mentor to me and so many other people. And I feel that your mentorship is more in just your friendship and your presence. So I wanted you to touch on how you do mentor people, because I know so many people that you have impacted their lives greatly, and so many artists that I see that are where they are because of you. But your mentorship isn't so formal. It's like always a wise word, or just you making time, or you being so accessible. And no matter how high you get on the ladder, you always seem so real and down to earth. So can you touch on that a little bit, please?
I studied the Dalai Lama. You know, like the Dalai Lama, they say you can write a letter to this guy. And he got some monks that read it, and then he'll check it. And he the Dalai Lama. And you could be a regular, everyday Joe, and you have a conversation for like 45 minutes with him if they read your letter and you got a good reason to meet this person. So it's a philosophy I believe in. Like, it's the higher you go, the harder you fall. So like, if the people are the reason you got you here, then to me, I'm a servant of the people. So I'm not higher than the people. Like, you gotta look at, like, I'm a servant of the people. So like, if I got to a certain point based on the people, who am I not to turn my back on the people when they need the help? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the type of mentorship I got is like, I love to see young people working hard. I'm not gonna hold your hand. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna be your buddy all the time. Some days you're not gonna like me. But if you work hard and I see I can help you in some way, I want to see it. It's just two reasons I do it is because I was in the streets doing some wild shit. I believe in karma, so I believe in repenting your karma, making it correct. You know what I'm saying? If I was in the streets this many years, I need to spend this many years doing right. So I do the best for that, for my personal karma. And then maybe it's like curiosity. I really want to see, outside of Basquiat and these known artists, what do a young millionaire artist look like? What would a black woman or a black man look like if they were still in their early 20s making millions of dollars? How would the culture shift? What would they look like? How would they use their money? Are they gonna do it like rappers when they in their 20s? You know how rappers get their first bonus, a check, and they buy some jewelry or a car or something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Some material. What would the artists do when they get their first million? I want to see this. I'm curious to see it. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to make as many artists as much money as they can do it, because I curiously want to see the culture shift to that direction. Like, we forget, like, we are artists and it's good to express, but I don't think we've seen the evolution of black art yet, because of the art we create now is based off struggle a lot of times. My art has changed because when I was 16, it was struggle. So you can see your mind developed in a different way because you're struggling. You're a young black male in America. The artwork I'm going to create is going to represent my creativity, my struggle, all this stuff. Then you get to a certain point and you like, the art could be more relaxed. How do black art look if an artist don't have to worry about paying his rent, or his water bill, or his cell phone bill, or his mama, or his brother, or something? Imagine what the artwork would look like if they're free financially. You see Picasso? You see how his work changed? You can see examples like artists like Charles White, who lived from young man to old man, Picasso, young man to old man. You can see the artwork evolve through these periods. Basquiat is our millionaire artist. We only seen him live one period. His work was one style for 7 years till he died. So we didn't get to see an old Basquiat. We don't get to hear an old Tupac. Like, what would this sound, what do we sound like? What would we talk about? What would Basquiat paint right now? So we haven't got to that. So I want to see it. And that's what visionary come in, because people are like, oh, I'm visionary, but I just want to see it. I just want to see it. I think we can create this reality. It's not something that we can be dreaming about. It's reality. Like every single body in here we can make, as a collective, as people, we can make one artist hot. If everybody chipped in $100 and bought wherever the hottest young artist is now, and they made over $10,000 for this painting, it's recorded that this person made $10,000, and we created this artist. Because right now, white artists picking who hot for us. These white galleries are telling us that these are the black artists that we need to look for. And some of these artists might don't even reflect who we are. So it's like, I just want to see some people who deserve to be on top. When I see somebody working hard, like, to me, I don't believe in free shit either. I don't give free advice. Like, if you under my mentorship, I'm gonna make sure you eat every day. I'm gonna teach you how to fish on your own. But you might have to clean a toilet. You might have to mop the floor. Like, I had to do that. And I'm gonna go the same path I had to do. Like, when I was a young man, like, everybody know H. Rap Brown, the Black Panther? I used to go over here just to get books. I would sweep his steps. You know, when I was in my apprenticeship, I washed the toilets, cleaned the toilets every day to learn how to tattoo a certain way. Like, I didn't do it, it wasn't free, it wasn't given to me. So I believe in that thing because it made me, like, humble. Like, I'm not too good to clean the toilet. I'm not too good to sweep the floor. I'm not too good to go out there and pick trash up for my community. So if I ask you to do something, it's because I already did it. I'm not gonna ask you something I would never do, I never did myself.
Woo. Man, I could go another hour. You know, there's a saying that, you know, never meet your hero. We've been very fortunate to meet people that we would consider heroes or people that we looked up to. This first time I met you, but I felt like you mentored me from afar, just following you. I was a MySpace follower too. Straight up. You know, there's also a line in a poem said, if you can walk with kings nor lose the common touch. And so having met you face to face and, you know, just, you know, being in your presence and feeling your spirit, man, I'm glad I got to meet you, and I'm glad that experience, that saying about meeting your heroes is not true in this case, man. And I appreciate you being here with us.
Thankful to be here, y'all, straight
Yeah.
up. It's so real because to me it's still crazy that people want to hear me talk about something, you know? And to me, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Hey.
You know, so it's so real, and I'm thankful for the opportunity because it's just, every single one I do is just mind-blowing that somebody even asked me to come up and talk some shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Donald, one of my heroes too, you know, he was a little older than me. He don't look like he older than me, but he was about 5 years older than me. We played basketball together. So y'all brothers, Ebony, everybody that's touched this stage today is somebody that we look and admire your work. And there's so many more people that we look at like that, and we're just honored to have you all. Everybody, give yourselves a hand for being here. Can y'all give Matthias a hand for hosting us today? And DJ Duro providing the soundtrack for us today. And so please don't leave. We got a happy hour. The bartender is out there. We're going to transition the stage so we can have a good time. You guys hung in there.
Can I say something, though?
Yeah, please.
Mr. Soul right here, man.
Oh,
His
yes,
brother right
yes.
here.
Where
Came
you at? I
in-
ain't see him.
He came in from Cleveland. I just saw the
Oh,
shirt.
Brian.
I couldn't see his face over there.
Yeah.
He was, you know, low.
Oh.
But that brother right there is one of the brothers, man. Like, he been there the whole entire way.
And he the
having my
reason you're
back.
here.
Yeah,
He hooked us up. So
yeah. So
Mr.
I'm very
Soul spoke a
thankful,
couple
man.
years ago, so please give Mr. Soul a hand for hooking us up with Miya.
And Don over here, this
And
black woman right here.
Don, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
man, making so many moves. That's inspiring to me. Like,
Yeah,
I was raised by
absolutely.
black women, so to see black women, like, my mom really, really was, like, breaking her back for us, man. So to see, like, women like Dawn and what she do for her daughter, and just that's inspiring me to me. People like
Yeah.
that inspire me. So
Absolutely.
applaud to all the black women out here making moves,
Yeah.
man.
Give yourselves a hand. And we got a lot of folks in here not from Columbus. If you are not from Columbus or don't live in Columbus, would you stand up or raise your hand who came out to be with us tonight? Dang. That's love, y'all. Y'all got to show some love for that, man.